Are you ready for the comment of the day? I'm snarky sparky today. I am just in a place, not a bad place, I'm just a little sparky. Ha 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 ha. How can you have dialogue with no contact? Ever think that the parent might just be relieved? Actually, your comment really did make me laugh, and I'm going to try not to knock anything over as I get comfortable here. Not only did I think about whether or not my mother might be relieved, I'm 100,000 bajillion% sure she is relieved. Do you know why I know? Because when she had an opportunity to have a relationship with me with a free pass, get this. Okay, backstory. I had been no contact with my mother for 17 years. Sorry about that, had a technical difficulty. If this looks glitchy, storage was full on the phone. So anyway, knock, 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 17 years later, my mother's at my door, out of the blue, no warning, no nothing. I'm transported back into feeling like I'm 9 years old. She triggers me instantly, and I back up and I am trying to figure out what to do next, and I feel helpless, so I open the door. Anywhoosie, the reason she showed up was because at the time, this is before my daughter, follow along, went no contact with my mother. Nothing to do with me other than the fact that she was advocating for me. However, there were other things that my mother did directly to her that led into that no contact, that let my daughter see what I must have gone through with my mother growing up underneath her. So my daughter was having her first child, and that's why my mother showed up, and it was like a whole thing. And at some point during this visit, when my daughter had her baby, we were all at the hospital. Oh, fun little side note, my mother's husband at the time, and I met all my stepdaddies after my mother married them, starting at the age of like 8 or 9 years old, pulled me aside when my mother was out of view, and it was really freaky because he kept looking at me, and I thought, oh, he must know what a piece of garbage I am, and he must know all the stories about how I got pregnant at 17 and how I ran away from home and how I'd been around and I was a tramp and all the things that my mother had told me about myself beginning at the earliest age I can remember. I mean, my mother was feeding me to someone who emmed me when I was 9 and told me that she knew I was damaged goods and what I was doing with him, okay? You getting a picture now? Ha 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 ha. Maybe she's relieved. Trust me, I'm the one who's relieved. Well, or don't trust me. I'm the one who's relieved. Anywhoosie, my mother has had this little ace in her back pocket that she's used less than a handful of times. And what is written on the ACE card is, I love you and I miss you. And if she's really going in for the kill, like the jugular, you know, she embraces me. You see, the way I grew up, she never did those things. And so the few times that she did, I would be like, oh my God, it must be the mother I'm looking for. This is what I've been waiting for. She loves me, she sees me, maybe I'm good enough now. How heartbreaking is that? Anyway, or any whoosie as I like to say, my mother pulled the ace out and she piled it on. I love you, I miss you, embraced me. Do you want to have a relationship? Yes, yes I do. Yes, yes please, yes please, yes. Will you be my mommy? Can I be your daughter? A week goes by, crickets, I hear nothing. So I pick up the phone. Now I am in my mid-30s, I think, maybe late 30s at this point, and I still want my mommy. Fuck. Anyway, I leave her a phone message because I'm not hearing from her. I'm thinking, oh, she must be afraid to reach out. I'm taking care of her emotional needs. What a surprise. And I leave her a phone message that I know for a fact that she got. And I say to her, hey, the next time you're in town, she lived 3.5 hours away. She was visiting my daughter. She could drive up for my daughter, her golden grandchild, rather. So I knew she would come into town. Why don't we have lunch, or we'll go shopping, we'll do something. We never, ears up, listen, we never have to talk about the past. Let's just move forward. These words fell out of my mouth. I was willing to let go of everything, all the accountability, not receive and apologize. She didn't have to set the record straight with anyone. She didn't have to tell the truth. She had a free pass. She never called me back. So to answer your question, my not being in my mother's life is a huge relief to her, especially now. Because now if she had to face me, well, that little girl, she lives inside of me, and I protect her from herself, and I will never allow her to betray us again for a love that doesn't exist in particular, and definitely not for my mother. Well, not for anyone for that matter. So, joke's on someone other than me. Maybe on you. Thanks for the comment, because this is important. You gave me an opportunity to talk about what no contact looks like for a lot of us. We've got parents out there, estranged parents, and I was one. I repaired my relationship with my daughter. It's been over 20 years. I always say this, she calls me for parenting advice. We're in a really good place because I could take accountability, and because I didn't willfully abuse her, I passed down trauma. That probably helped as well. We have a lot of estranged parents out there who act like they want their children back in their lives. And the truth of the matter is they're terrified of that happening, because we are not the version of the person that they attempted to create. I mean, they did create a certain version of us, and we've grown past that. We're not the game piece anymore that's going to silently allow ourselves to be moved around and made miserable without speaking up and advocating for ourselves. And that is not what they're looking for. They want us back if we're going to be their supply. And if not, they prefer us stay on the other island while they look like they want us back. That's where the relief comes in. Have a nice day.